Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to go for a little drive here. I hate how YouTube doesn't let you do landscape on a live video on your cell phone. Anyway, so apparently there's some wildfires in Canada, and the smoke is everywhere. It's everywhere. Hold on a second, I gotta adjust my thing here. Yeah, the smoke is everywhere, and we're down here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Sorry for this. Anyway, we're gonna go out on the battlefield and see if we can't see just how thick the smoke is. I'm gonna just pull over here for a second and try to fix this stupid thing. Forgive me, folks. Forgive me, folks. Maybe I need to get a GoPro. No, you can't go live with those, can you? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, so now I'll try to adjust that somewhat straight. All right, here we go. So yeah, we're gonna go out on the battlefield and see. Yesterday I was driving around and I just thought it was a hazy day, which was odd because it's a little early in the season for haze, and it wasn't very humid. In fact, it wasn't really humid at all. It was a gorgeous day, temperature-wise. So then this morning I look at the news and there's an article about Canadian wildfire. I think it said it was north of Montreal, if I'm not mistaken, and how it's blanketing the Northeast with very bad air. And then my sister back in New Jersey sent me a picture out her window, and it looked like a rainy day. You know, like it's a lot thicker where they are, and she said it smells like campfire. Let me see. No, not really getting a campfire smell here yet. But then a friend of mine on Facebook, who is a little more north of us here in Pennsylvania, said today, recently, looks like the smoke from Canada is rolling in. So maybe this is just kind of the fringes of it that we're getting down here. Yeah, so Peter says it's pretty bad up in upstate New York. I would imagine so. I remember, I can't remember if it was last summer or the summer before. I remember Eric, the producer, and I were standing outside the Gettysburg studio, and I love sunsets and I love summer and all that. And so I was just kind of standing out there, staring towards the west-ish, and looking at the sun. And I want to say it was maybe 3:34 in the afternoon, so the sun was still in the sky, but it was definitely on its descent. And I realized after staring at it for about 45 seconds without going blind that I was staring at the sun without going blind. And so I said, hey, Eric, the producer, I'm staring at the sun without going blind. And then he looked at it and he goes, oh, yeah. And I go, but that doesn't look like clouds. Like, it doesn't look like it's naturally occurring atmospheric stuff. And he's like, yeah. And then I remembered that there were wildfires in California. And then I saw a report that we were being covered with smoke from the wildfires in California. So it happens. It happens, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it does. Hi, Matt. The smoke haze over you doesn't look so bad. I heard it's worse over Eastern PA. Yeah, it is. I think it's because the way the wind works is like we're getting wind from like the southwest-ish that is kind of pushing it up or keeping it up in the northeast. But according to the map I saw, it kind of like we get it a little bit, but like Baltimore and the eastern seaboard and the Delmarva Peninsula, they get it worse. So I'm guessing it's, our weather's, we're kind of like right on the cusp of all that. I don't know. What am I, a meteorologist? But yeah, that's what I'm guessing. Now here, okay, so the mountain, now you can really see it because the mountains, oh man, yeah, they're blotted out. I mean, you really can't see very far into the mountain range. You can't see them really at all. On the camera, you can't really see them. Let's see, we're gonna go out towards the mountain. I think that'll be the best way to illustrate visibility. Hudson Valley, smoky and campfire smell, New York City blanketed. Yeah. Well, New York City's always covered in a green smog anyway, but now it's probably even worse. Must be impossible to breathe if you're in the city. That's crazy. I live between Buffalo and Rochester, and it's awful. Oh my God. The last 2 days have been bad. Tomorrow night will be worst day yet. Oh, geez, so you've been dealing with this for a couple days. So I didn't realize that. I thought this just started yesterday. Yeah, so, yeah, that's crazy. God, I can't imagine. The picture my sister sent me, I couldn't believe. I mean, it looked like it was just one of those rainy days, you know, where like the clouds are really low and it's just nothing but atmosphere in the air on the ground, foggy, misty. Like that's the way it looked. She said that recess and all outdoor activities at my nephew's school were canceled and they're keeping the kids inside today. Or they kept them inside. They're out now, but so that's bad. And then the campfire smell. We don't have that here. Or maybe we do, but it's so slight and my sense of smell is so busted that I can't detect it. But yeah, so let's see. When we come up over this hill here, we should see the mountains better, or not see the mountains better. Might be the correct way. Yeah, see, so that blue line that looks like mountains there is not the mountains. The mountains are behind that blue line in the distance. Hold on. Got to get up over the hill again. This is, you can't see it, but to my right now is the barn where General Hood's arm hospital scene was filmed. And then to my left, actually, I think on either side of me, fight was filmed for the movie Gettysburg. Right now, on either side of me. To the left would be the Union line. To the right is where the Confederates came from. And then this was covered in dirt to look like the Emmitsburg Road. All right, so yeah, can't see the mountains. So it's you know, it's made it down here, but it's more of a white smoke. Sister said sometimes where she is in North Jersey, it's like an orange. Maybe that's just its sunset and the way it, you know, does its thing. Here, let's go this way, and we'll go out to Fairfield because you can get a really good shot of the mountains that way. I should be setting up the studio today, but in spite of the smoke, it's a nice day, and I have people coming to help me after they get out of work, and that's not till after 5 o'clock, I think, so can't do much without help. By the way, I'm on Bingham Road, and if you want to know where the Lone Top scene was shot, it's straight ahead of me. You would know it because it's off in the woods, but those trees up ahead, it's not directly ahead of me. I got to go around this bend first. Okay, now I'm rounding the bend, and me, according to what I've been told. I didn't actually get to go there. Actually, I don't know if they shot anything there. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm thinking out loud. Jennifer, go down? I don't know. Sorry. I'm about 3 hours northeast from Gettysburg and have had some heavy smoke. And it smells like you. I can't read while I drive, I'm sorry. But to my right is where the little round top scene was filmed. just read what Jennifer said here. I'm about 3 hours northeast from Gettysburg, and we have some heavy smoke, and it smells like you could be sitting at a bonfire. It's been like this since about 2:30 or 3 p.m. yesterday afternoon. Todd says, the haze was bad a few weeks ago over Northern Virginia from wildfires in Western Canada. The media didn't care since New York City wasn't affected. Yeah, that's the truth, ain't it? It's funny, if that happens to New York, it's a catastrophe and the worst thing ever. And meanwhile, it happens to the rest of the country all the time, and it's like, ho-hum. But they don't call it the center of the world for nothing. New York, it's a hell of a town. Estella says, the smoke smells like a campfire. It makes me hungry for s'mores. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I like the campfire smell. I wish it did smell like campfire here. But too much of the campfire smell is not nice. I remember I went camping once, and I had a Jeep Wrangler at the time with a soft top. And I had the back window zipped open for some reason. And, didn't close it after we set up camp, and we weren't, I wasn't parked too far from the campfire, and the smoke, of course, just blew straight into my Jeep, and it took probably 2 months for it to start smelling normal again, and the high concentration of campfire smell is not as appealing as the light smell of a campfire. All right, so we're going out, it was on 116 here. We're going out to Fairfield so that you can, see better. Granite Hill Camping Resort is on the left here. Very nice campground if you're into that. They also have like a bluegrass festival out there. Pretty neat. Does anybody know what started the fire up in Canada? Was it like lightning or a cigarette or fireworks, or somebody was varnishing a tree and left the rags there or something? Well, at least it's not a chemical fire. Don't need that again. Amen, Peter. Amen. Well, that's good to know that it's not a chemical fire. Chris Miller says, heading to Gettysburg tomorrow for 10 days. Hoping the air is okay to hike all week. They're saying not to. All right, so now we can see mountain, right? I wasn't paying attention, but look at how blotted out it is. Let's see, I can get a better shot if I turn somewhere. I mean, here it's not so bad. Just kind of looks like a hazy summer day, but the temperature is 77 degrees. It's not humid. I don't want to say at all, but if it is, it's not the unbearable type of humid. So, you know. What we'll do is, there's a church with a parking lot that looks out over the fields. So we'll go there and then you can see. By the way, if you're a frequent visitor or a soon-to-be visitor, first time, whatever, you gotta come out to Fairfield. It's a quiet, nice little quaint town, as they say. And but there's a restaurant. There's a couple restaurants here. You have Ventura's. You have Book and Table, which is like good for like a big greasy breakfast. There's Taverna, which we often go to, but there's also the Mansion House, which is just up ahead of me, but I'm turning here. And the Mansion House is delicious. D-E-licious. All right, well, actually, you can kind of see it if I just do this. Here we go. See? So, no, you don't really see. Here. There we are. See? That mountain's not very far away, but it looks like it's, you know, miles in the distance. I would say it's about 30 feet in front of me. Okay, maybe not 30 feet, but it's not far. Okay, Matt says it was lightning. Lightning striking in Canada. No, I should have done it. Lightning striking in Canada. Not laughing at Canada being set on fire. I'm laughing at my stupidity. All right, so I'm just turning around here because there's no point in going any further. I do have to get back and set up the studio some more. Ugh. I think someday I'd move out here to Fairfield. It's quiet, no Harleys. Well, there's Harleys, but there's no bike week. No college kids. There's also, you know, no stores. So I'd have to go through Gettysburg anyway, or out to Chambersburg. But I'm looking for a nice, quiet life. You know, peace, one good companion to live with, but they're elusive, so a dog. Too bad we can't post pics of the fog of fire. Play Who's Got It Worse. Oh yeah, that would be cool if there was a way to do that. I don't know if you still can, but it used to be on Instagram that you could actually, during a live video, go into your pictures and share a picture for everybody to see. I've used it maybe twice, I think. I don't know if it's still there. It's been years since I even did it, so I don't know if they still have that function there, but that would be cool if they had it here on YouTube. It's really bad in Yonkers. A Yonker is a young man. Remember, a Yonker is a young man. We used to take these, what do they call them? Like standardized tests? The CTBS tests, I think they were called. Or was it a TB test? No, I took those two. Yeah, those two different things. You know, where you had to have the Scantron and the number 2 pencil. Anyway, there was a vocabulary section of the test, and I remember our 6th grade teacher, she had a very deep voice, and she would trail off at the end of her sentences. So she was but it worked because I remember these names all the way, or these words all the way now, since 6th grade. But like she got up there and she'd be like, remember, a baloo is a bear. Remember, a baloo is a bear. And then we'd let it sink in. And then she'd be like, remember, to wuzzle means to mix. To wuzzle means to mix. And then remember, a Yonker is a young man. And I'd heard of Yonkers, New York. I grew up in North Jersey, so we got New York news, so I always heard of Yonkers. But I didn't know that a Yonker was a young man. And now I do. And then I knew, and now I still do. I remember. I listened to the podcast with you and Lisa. I loved it, and will definitely be buying her book. Oh, yeah, Lisa Samia. Yes, she's very sweet. I really enjoyed talking to her. We had a long conversation after we ended the show. I didn't record it, of course, but it was a great conversation. She's very sweet. If you ever get a chance to meet her, I think she's going to be down here during the anniversary, I believe. I don't recall when, but keep your eye out for her name. She's going to be down here for something, and if you're in the area, go by and see her. Tell her you heard her on the show, and you bought the book or whatever the case may be. And she's a very sweet lady. You'll love talking to her. She's just bright and cheerful. And if you're in a bad mood, just hello from her is enough to put you in a good mood. So definitely check out Lisa Samia's book. Hey, I'm actually from Long Island, just work in Yonkers. Oh, okay. There you go. What is that? So I don't know. I've never been to Yonkers. Is that an insult to say that you live in Yonkers? Is that where you're like, hey? Thanks for bringing back bad memories using the word Scantron. Yeah, I know, Peter. I'm sorry. Oh, Scantron. First of all, just the word Tron. Like, were they trying to be cool, or does Tron mean something? Because I'm not into this science fiction and science and general stuff. I mean, I find science interesting, but I wasn't a science geek, is what I mean. The extent of my science is putting baking soda and vinegar together to make a volcano. Or is that what you use? I don't even remember what you use anymore. Yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. Probably nowhere. So you could still see regular old clouds in the sky, right? So it's not that bad down here in Gettysburg. There's just a haze. I have not noticed any, although I am feeling like a film on my tongue. Yes. Like when you get like pollen, like a lot of pollen in the air, and you get that film on your tongue. Although now that I said that, it could also just be pollen. I think we're gonna, no, there was pollen on my windshield this morning. There's so much stuff flying around in the air. What's a little smoke? as I cough. Sandra says, I'm in the Detroit area. We have third worst air quality in the world today. Yuck. So just behind Delhi and Toronto. So wait, does Toronto normally have bad air quality, or is it just because of the fire? And how bad is, like, where does Detroit rank in air quality when there isn't a fire coming down from Canada? Third worst in the world. Oh my God. What the hell's on fire in Canada? Or is it just because we're closer? Are we closer to Montreal? No, we definitely are closer to Montreal than we are California. So that's probably why it's worse than it was a couple years ago. Reacquaint myself. I can just look at my GPS map. Tron based on Etch-a-Sketch. Huh? I don't get it. I can't read Cyrillic. I think that's Cyrillic, right? But it says, I'm from Russia, it's 1 a.m. Well, good morning to you, sir. Tron is Greek, means an instrument. Aha! Okay. So an instrument that scans. When I first started teaching 20 years ago, they were still in use. Yeah, we had them all the way through high school. I in college too. I remember in college, and I left college 22 years ago. 22 years ago, I left college. 'Twas the greatest day of my life. So then the movie Tron, now that I'm thinking of Tron, and I never saw the movie Tron, because again, not into sci-fi. What's the so he's an instrument of what? Tron. What is Tron an instrument of? Destruction, or is he a hero? Why is it called Tron? Let's see. Let's look at the battlefield while we're here. So when you come in from Fairfield, just before you get into Gettysburg, but when you hit Seminary Ridge, there's McPherson's Ridge and Reynolds Avenue. And here we are. So you can see, off there to the north, you've got Oak Hill, where the Peace Line is, and it's a bit what you'd say hazy. Some cyclists, they ain't afraid of no smoke. I don't know English well, but I understood what you told me. Good. Can you type your first name in English? Because I can't read your alphabet, your characters in your language. Lots of forest fires in Quebec. The head of the fire service said even with all the teams coming in from other countries, there are only enough teams to fight something like about 120 of the 150 fires. Well, that's pretty good. 120 out of 150, I guess. So, is that all lightning? Are these 150, individual fire? I mean, I guess there would be, right? Or is it like lightning hits one place and then the wind carries the embers everywhere else? Oh, what a mess. Growth. And I don't know why, but it always happens. At least the sky is blue over there, says Michael Diavola. Here outside of Philadelphia, it's white and. Yeah, no, I know. It's my sister's in North Jersey, so it's closer to you than me, and that's the picture she sent me was insane. All right, let me pull over here and catch up on some comments because some of them are a little long to be reading while I'm driving, pretending to be safe and all that stuff. I'm from Ottawa, Canada's capital. The last reporting is that there are over 100 fires stretching across most of eastern Canada. That's why it's so hazy in Gettysburg. Yep. Oh yeah, no, I know why it's hazy here, but that's a lot. Oh my God, 100 fires. Jeez. At least the sky is blue over there. Yeah, okay, got that. Lots of fires in Quebec. Got that. Todd, it's not hazy in Gettysburg. Blue skies. No, Todd, I would call this a little bit of a haze. I mean, look. Here. This is definitely a haze. If this were a natural atmospheric condition, like if this was the middle of July, 95 degrees, 3,000,000% humidity, we would call this a hazy day. And I'll show you. She put her hand up and waved like I said go, but I didn't say go. All right, here. There is a tree line, right? That dark spot. Right above there, you would see Purple Mountain Majesties, or Purple Mountain's Majesty, but you don't because of the haze. That's the smoke. You can't see it, and even with the naked eye, I can't see it, and I know it's there. So it's definitely a haze, although it's smoke. So I guess it's not a haze. It's not hazy. It's smoky. All right, so touche. Microfilm orange. Yes, it's my sister said it was. Sometimes it's orange where she is. When I see it. Sorry, it looked hazy. It's so smoggy in Ottawa. It looked like it was like it was dark rain clouds all day. Yeah, that's the way it looked in New Jersey, or at least the picture. It could be just the picture. But sadly, there hasn't been rain in a couple of weeks. Yeah, we haven't had rain either. I think somebody said it rained one day in the month of May. And here we are 7 days into June. And, oh, by the way, yesterday was not only D-Day, but it is the 5th anniversary of addressing Gettysburg. I didn't post anything because we're not a World War II. I mean, I guess I could have acknowledged D-Day. I mean, there's no harm in that, but we're not really a World War II thing, so there was nothing that I could have said about D-Day that actual World War II or broader history channels weren't saying, and I didn't want to just go, oh, it's our 5th anniversary, because then it makes it look like, it's tone deaf, so I didn't do anything, and then I totally forgot about it until now. So 5 years since Addressing Gettysburg started, 4 years of shows, over 300 actually. Oh God, there's got to be over 600 something shows, because Patreon, we put out 4 a month, and we started that in December of 2019. So you do the math, 4 a month times however many years of months that is. And then there are 363 uploads on our free feed. So we probably are close to over 1,000 shows that we've done in that time. And so, people say things sometimes like, a joke from a show that they heard, and they'll say it to me, and I can tell they've been waiting for this moment. And they say it to me, and with a little smile on their face, like, yeah, you're gonna laugh if they go, you're gonna laugh, yeah. And I'm like, and then I just look at them all perplexed, and I'm like, what's that from? And they're like, oh, I forget which show it was, but I think it was with so-and-so, and you said this, and, and I was like, oh, that was 4 years ago. Yeah. We haven't had that person on in 3 years or 4 years. But it's not even the amount of time, because if we did far fewer shows in a year, I'd probably remember things. But over 1,000, that's insane. I have to look into that and make sure that's right. That's crazy. It's really not, if you consider, you know, radio people do it every day. 5 days a week, they're doing a show for 4 or 5 hours. And more successful podcasters can afford to do daily shows because they have a crew that they can hire, which I would love to do someday, but we're not there yet. And so really but you know, for me, prior to doing this show, I did a show that maybe did 50 shows in a year, something like that. No, actually probably less. And now we do 74 shows in a year. So, okay, it's not that much of a difference. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying. I just don't want to go inside. Oh, Chris Presley, you're absolutely right. I'll do a sunset video tonight. This will make for a very nice sunset. I'll actually be able to see the sun. It's a weird orange in New York. You're talking the county? Just kidding. Driving over the bridge this morning, I could barely make out the ships in Long Island Sound. Wow. I can't imagine that. Toronto and Detroit generally do pretty well air-wise. Thanks for all you do. Happy anniversary. Thank you, Sandra. Sandra or Sandra? You can't tell me. Well, you probably could spell it out. Whatever. Thank you, Sandy. Can I call you Sandy? There's that. You know, some people don't like nicknames. Whatever. All right, we'll go around the battlefield a little more. I'm enjoying this time with you guys. And I am just astonished at how smoky it is. And I have, by the way, my window's closed. My air conditioning is set to recycling air. And still, I'm feeling this film on my tongue. Film, if you will. And I just have coffee, which doesn't really help. A little haze in central West Virginia. Hey! You should have seen Cam yesterday. Man, Cam came over. He texted me yesterday. Hey, you doing anything you need help with today at the studio? And I said, maybe. Why don't you just come on by? So me and Debbie Jones were there. Debbie's very helpful. We were going through things and, you know, pulling everything out of totes and just organizing and things. And then Cam shows up, and it's like babysitting the Tasmanian devil after he got hit in the head really hard with something after drinking half a bottle of tequila. And Cam doesn't drink, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. I was entertained. I was laughing. Never was into podcasts until I stumbled upon your show, and I'm obsessed. Well, thank you, Peter. I got to buck up to that Patreon page. Been hooking my Rev War guys to do. Well, thank you very much for that, Peter. And yeah, I think you would like the stuff over at Patreon. It's not that I take that more seriously content-wise and production-wise, but well, I guess I do take it a little more seriously because people pay for it. So I consider that's my job. That's my job, is to please the patrons. And of course, you never can win. You can't please everybody all the time. Here's the Lutheran Seminary, or the Seminary Ridge Museum. Let's see. I think we see some of the guys outside there. What are they doing? Oh, let's see. Can we harass them? Are they doing anything important? Let's see. They're laying bricks. I'm sorry, I was talking to Peter. Peter, thank you very much for saying that. And I always there's maybe 4 or 5 recurring compliments that come my way once in a while that I just absolutely love. And yours is one of them. Never was into podcasts until I stumbled upon yours, and I'm obsessed. I don't know the word, but the feeling that gives me is above awesome. So I don't know what is above that, but it is a great feeling. So I appreciate that. We have to keep our windows closed as well here in northern, near the GW Bridge, New Jersey. Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, well, the map that I was looking at, they were showing, like, the path of the smoke. And it looks like it's heaviest over your area. Like, North Jersey, obviously New York State. I mean, when I say area, I mean entire region. And it's, I can't imagine it. All right, so let's see. There are the round tops. I just want to show you quickly. I shouldn't have really crossed that line. Forgive me, I apologize to the road gods. Please don't go too serious. That's what makes this show. I'd rather jump off a bridge. I'd rather jump off the George Washington Bridge during this smoke storm than go serious with anything in my life. That's why I'm single. I don't want to. I won't get serious. Well, there are times where I do get serious, and I'm quite capable of doing that, and I'm quite capable of doing it with heart. But and that's why I always like The Office, because it had heart, even though it was a funny show, right? Comedy is served up with heart, and history, I think, is best served up with heart and comedy, because if you take out the comedy, even the heart isn't enough to overcome the absolutely depressing nature of what we're talking about. I mean, we're driving through here now, and it's so pretty, right? It's manicured, it's taken care of, it's planned, it's paved, it's, marked, it's all this stuff. It's a park. But if you were to go back in time 160 years, this would be absolute misery. You would see people's homes burning. Like the Bliss Farm here would just be smoldering. That's somebody's life and livelihood just completely ruined by a stupid war. You would see men walking around dirty, skinny, bandaged, or you'd see carcasses of human beings and of animals laying about in the fields, stinking up the place, swarms of flies. Your buddy comes out from behind a tree, pulling up his pants because he just took a deuce. It's a mess. It's a disgusting, filthy mess. And when you talk about that, 3 days a week, twice a day on show recordings, and then when you're out and about, all anybody wants to talk about is this. It's depressing. That's why I take all of July off. I can't deal with it. Like it's sad and depressing. And at first it wasn't that way for me, but the more I learn about it, the more real it becomes in your head. Because you're able to imagine it on a different level than you were before. Not a movie level, but a real life level. And then you realize that you're talking about people who are half your age or younger, and their lives were snuffed out, or they lived, but had to live with the physical or emotional or mental scars that the war brought about. So I can't get too serious because the subject matter is serious enough. We'll give it the proper reverence when it's needed, but yeah, and not only that, but we love talking about this. I don't prepare very well or at all for interviews with people. I just go off the top of my head. So we have to keep it conversational, which means we have to throw in jokes there because that lubricates the wheels and keeps everything going. So long way to say I'm not going to get serious. If you want a serious podcast, there's a ton of other podcasts out there about various subjects that take themselves too seriously. I don't, and Jim and Eric with their podcast, they joke around too, and sometimes they get shit from people. Oh, it's wrestling and stop with the jokes and everything like that. But you're sitting in your basement or your office or your bedroom or on the couch, reading something or listening to a podcast as an escape from your daily life. But this is our daily life. We're the reverse of you guys. So I need to go find a job at I don't know, landscaping, just something, just to have something other than death and destruction to talk about. I should probably take that advice and do that. I'll get some shape too, just for the hell of it. Because I need to have that escape. I need to do something to escape. I need to have a second group of friends that have no interest in the Battle of Gettysburg. And that's nothing against the friends that I have. It's just we need to talk about something else once in a while. But it's such a great place. Look at this. Who wouldn't, how lucky am I to live here? My unluckiness in life has enabled me to be lucky enough to live here, if that makes any sense, without having to go through my life story. And so, yeah, I'm going to be all over the battlefield and hang out in town and everything like that. It's like everything I love. Well, it's most of everything I love. It does weigh on you. All right, enough of that. I've beaten that dead horse. I wonder if there were any bordellos in Gettysburg during the time of the Civil War. Well, there. I'm gonna have to ask Tim about that because I do remember having a conversation about that. I know there was one little round top in the 20th century. What is this guy doing? Is he pulling over to let me go, or is he just what is he doing? Or is he watching? Maybe he's watching. Hi, sir. Okay, do I go? What are you doing? Anyway, Round Top Restaurant, I believe it was called. Right where that gravel lot is, at the foot of the north face of Little Round Top. We'll drive there. There was a restaurant there, and there were some cottages out back. If you see a faded sign at the side of the road that says 15 miles to the Love Shack, that's what they were talking about. Except they were talking about Atlanta. There were cottages out back of the restaurant, which I think the purpose of was for you to actually stay at. But apparently there was some kind of prostitution ring or something going on. I'm glad you brought that up because that would be an interesting topic for a show. I'm going to find somebody who knows about that and have them come on. That'll come out within the course of the next 12 months. Well, I'm sure there was a high level of dark humor brought in during the Civil War, same as today. Wish there was a Rev War podcast that came close to what you do. Peter, I don't know if you have any interest in it, but we're trying to start a network of history shows, and they don't have to be Gettysburg related, just history related, and but they're going to be addressing. So, if you were to do one on the Battle of Monmouth, addressing Monmouth, something like that. Although it doesn't quite work the same, so we might change it. But anyway, the point is, I am looking to produce or at least support with the advice and know-how and all that stuff, other history podcasts to put into a network. So it's a slow process working on it because for various reasons. So yeah, if that would be something you would be interested in putting together, you've got plenty of time to think about it and put it together and all that. A private message or something, and we'll see. The college was looking for a part-time landscaper help. There you go. Maybe I'll go do that. The Bryan Farm tent building occupant had that profession. The Bryan Farm... Oh, tenant building... she was a lady of the night. A soiled dove, if you will. Oh, you just tried to go the wrong way. Oh, I caught it on video. That's so... Oh, and he's a Virginia driver. Folks, for anybody who's new to these videos, this might sound like I have a problem with Virginians. I don't. I love Virginia. I have family in Virginia. I go there all the time. But I swear to God, every time I see somebody going the wrong way on the battlefield, they're from Virginia. Okay, not every time. There was a Connecticut, there was a Vermont. So I'm going to say 8 out of 10 times somebody... The theory I have is that Virginians just, there are no rules to the road in Virginia unless you live in like northern Virginia, like, the really heavily concentrated population density area of northern Virginia, like Fairfax and, that whole area. Then you follow the rules because you're probably not originally from Virginia, so you were taught how to drive and follow the rules, number one. Number two, you kind of have to because there's so many damn people around, right? But the people that grew up in the sticks, and that's my family, they lived out in the sticks. And, we'd go drive somewhere. They drove like maniacs. And they weren't guys. These were my older, two female cousins that were older. And they drove like madmen. And, I loved it because it was fun. But you could clearly tell that the double yellow line in the middle of the road meant nothing. Actually, I think they thought it was like a guideline where you try to get the center of your car right over the space between the two yellow lines, because that's kind of how they always rode. And speed limit signs are just kind of suggestions, but at the very least, they're a minimum, not a limit. Yeah, okay, this I do is check the license plate. 8 to 10 times it's Virginia. Again, for those of you who are new to all this, and you're just watching because you saw the Canadian Wildfire title, this is Devil's Den. We're in Gettysburg National Military Park. This is Devil's Den. This big tree was not so big during the time of the battle, but it was here during the time of the battle, so they say. Probably more like a sapling or a smaller version of itself. All right, sorry there. Lost. All right, the choppiness should end pretty soon. The famous Irish Brigade monument here. Try to take a picture. There you go. Alrighty, and we're moving on up. Off topic, did you ever watch the TV series Turn? Yes, I loved that show. That was a great show. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch Turn. I love when that show was on. I was religiously watching it, and I totally forgot about it until today. So I'm gonna go watch that again. Simcoe, Captain Simcoe. Oh, Peter didn't like Turn. Well, Peter, you're into the Rev War, so you would probably have more reason to cringe than I would. Not that I'm not into the Rev War, I just don't know enough about it to really know. Dustin Wise says, video got a bit blurry and paused around 10. Must be the reason for confusion after Hood was wounded due to their 5G LTE going up. You're absolutely right. By the way, I have Sprint, or what is it now, T-Mobile. The service sucks. I shouldn't say it sucks. It's improved, but it used to be really bad around here. At least most of the battlefield now I have service. It used to not always be that way. I thought that was Matt Atkinson. And it's just the way it is. We get down to the Devil's Den little round top area, and everybody's service, regardless of who their character or carrier is a little bit sketchy. So, yeah. Oh shoot, I meant to. All right, we're gonna go back. I meant to show you where the brothel was. So we'll go back because I'm gonna head past that way anyway. So. Yeah, see, Peter, you ended up watching Vikings because you had no clue about it. I have no clue about the Vikings, but also zero interest, so I haven't watched Vikings. But Rev War, and I grew up near Morristown, New Jersey. Morristown, not Moorestown. And Washington's headquarters is there, Fort Nonsense is there, Jockey Hollow is there. So we visited those things when I was younger, and I'm into 19th century life. While as a little kid, I was more into the Revolutionary War than the Civil War. I don't know when the switchover came, when I became more interested in the Civil War, but it was later, closer to probably high school. No, you know what it was? It was Gettysburg. Gettysburg, I always had Civil War experiences because of my family in Virginia, where they're near Manassas, and Fredericksburg, Chancellorsville. We went to all these places. So I always had exposure to that. And then by virtue of where I lived, I always had exposure to Revolutionary War. But it wasn't until I saw the movie Gettysburg where I guess really it's someone else's vision of the war connected with me. Like, I didn't develop my own vision of the war or idea or picture of the war until I saw the movie Gettysburg. And then every year since then has been about undoing that and developing my own vision of the war, my own picture of the war. And my desire is to get closer to reality, not romanticized Hollywood fantasy, which is, what any movie is, because especially war movies, is because it's not really war, right? And as good as special effects have gotten over the years, it's still not the same thing. There's no smell. There's no, the sounds aren't accurate. Somebody told me that in a battle, you can't make out anything. Between the report of a cannon and the explosion of a shell. You can tell the difference between, God knows what, and people having conversations with each other. That's Hollywood, from what this person tells me. This person was in World War II. He says it's just noise. It's just all noise and you can't make out anything. There's a guy screaming right in your face, so close you could kiss him, and you still can't hear a word that he's saying. So that's what I want to get a better picture of in being here and doing the show and everything. I want to understand. I want to know what it's like and hope that we, but I feel like we're gonna. And so I want to steel myself. I want to prepare myself for what we're going to see so that it's not so traumatizing when I see it. And I can maneuver through things instead of just sit there screaming all scared and everything like everybody else. Now watch, I'll be the biggest wimp of them all, but at least that's my attempt here. All right, so right here, this parking lot over here to the left is where Round Top Restaurant was, and supposedly the cottages were behind it. Okay, and there are the cottages. No, but these trees weren't here, obviously, and the restaurant was somewhere here. The cottages were back in the woods, and that. But anyway, there's a good walking tour of Dustin Wise. Also looking forward to your presentation at the Seminary Ridge Museum in the 160th. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too, because I don't know what we're doing. So I'm letting JD lead that one, and it was his idea. So I was like, yeah, sure, whatever you want. And you know me, I could talk about anything. And if I can't, I say, well, I really don't know much about that. I enjoy finding the details. Finding the details that aren't in books or brought to light. Where are you located, Peter? Liam McCloskey says, wow, this is my area also. Smells terrible. Wait, you're in the Gettysburg area, Liam, and you can smell? I don't smell anything. Let me just stick my head out the window. Dog, hold on. Yeah, I don't smell anything. I'm old. I can't smell anymore. Thanks, Geritol. I guess you can go through there now. Oh, do you think, ladies and gentlemen, let's see. Sorry. So that road, that intersection I was just at, to make a left there was a do not enter sign because that was a detour for the paving that's being done at the visitor center. The paving, as I understand it, is supposed to end on June 9th. Everything is supposed to open again. And the do not enter sign was not there at that left turn. So let's see, can we make it through the visitor center complex? And I call it a complex because apparently for the tourists coming in, it is very complex for them to figure out how to find the damn building, which is a giant red barn. But anyway, I digress. We're gonna go through there and see if we can go from the Baltimore Pike, where we are now, to the Taneytown Road, or Tawnytown Road, if you want to be correct. See, I wouldn't run that normally, but we're on video, so I'm gonna pretend to be responsible. Okay, and that's a joke, ladies and gentlemen. It's a joke. Liam, okay, you're in the area, so you can smell something here, Liam. I'm gonna guess, Liam. Look at this idiot. Well, go now. You might as well go now. You're halfway through the fucking thing. Oh, excuse, pardon my French. What was I saying? I'm going to guess you're younger than me, Liam, because you can smell. Or you've just taken better care of yourself. Or you haven't taken better care of yourself, but smell isn't one of the senses you've lost. Sorry. wobbliness. We'll get to around the bend here just to say. So let's see. Is it closed? This way to parking lot 3. Guys, the sign is up. I think it's open. Feel how smooth that is on the rump. Right? No bounce, no potholes, no sink. This is okay. Now we're getting up to here. Concrete part. This was a big deal. Ready? Here we go. Ooh. Rumbly. Very rumbly. But look at this. Look at this, folks. There were a lot of wavy, like the pavement was wavy here in some places, and they were pot holes as much as they were pot indentations. But now look at this. Beautiful concrete, smooth, but it's, you know, there's lot number 3's on the right. All right, so we can get through now. This is good stuff. Good stuff. It's a suck for bike tours coming up this way though, because these rumbly concrete slabs are just more friction, I believe, resistance, if you will. So here we are, all the way to the end. This feels like a. Wait, that's a more narrow driveway there. So there's no way to pass. Oh, that's gonna suck. Somebody's like broken down. There's no way to pass now. Okay, but I need to go down to Sheets and get some gas. So we're gonna go. So why would they do that? Why would you make everything better except that one part? God, if that isn't government, I don't know what is. Like, the whole driveway was better. Except that one part at the end that used to be 2 lanes. So if you need to go right, you can go right. If you need to go left, you can go left. Now it's 1 lane, and you're gonna have to, it's gonna gum up the works even more. I swear to God. Okay. Virginia driver. You know, Dustin, I didn't notice what the plate was. Oh, but the look on her face was great. In you go. Upstate near Saratoga, right in the middle of Fort Ticonderoga. Okay, 45 minutes north Mohawk Valley. Oh, very nice. Fort William Henry, 10 mile. I loved Lake George. We went up there. Oh God, was I in high school? It might have been my summer between high school and college. My mother's friends rented a place right on the lake up in Lake George, and we went up and visited, and it was so pretty up there. I loved Lake George. I would love to go there again if it didn't take 1,400 years to get there. Beautiful place. This road to my left here, I just passed. I should have pointed it out before we got there. But I was feeling a yawn coming on. Powers Hill is to the left. This is Blacksmith Shop Road, where the shoemaker used to be. Hence the name Blacksmith Shop Road. That doesn't make sense, right, guys? You'd think it would be a blacksmith that would live here. And it was, or something. I don't even know. McAllister's Mill is across the street. Mulligan McDuffers is a putt-putt place that used to also be across the street there. It is now owned by the American Battlefield Trust, and it is turning into forest. Oh yeah, do you hear the grit from Canada that just landed on my... The smoke is all gritty. Lake George is only 8 hours away from here? I felt like it was 8 hours away from me in North Jersey when I lived there. I might be confused. Huh. Okay. It's not as bad as I thought. But still, 4 hours is my limit for a day trip. I mean, you know, for driving in a day. So I'd have to stop overnight. You know, my back. Unless somebody else is driving or we take turns driving. I can't sit in a driving position for too long. Because my old sciatic starts screaming at me and herniated disc starts kicking me, and yeah, it's just painful. Painful. So Sheets is coming up here, so what I'm going to do is thank you all for joining me for the last 74 minutes and 29 seconds, 30 seconds, 31 seconds, 32, 33, 34, 35, etc. I'm going to go into Sheets, get myself a bottle of water, then go get some gas, and then, you know, go to the studio and do some work until later this evening. So, hope you enjoyed seeing the Canadian smoke all the way down here in Pennsylvania. Beautiful Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. For those of you who normally don't watch us, but tuned in because you just saw it on YouTube as a live video and related to the Canadian wildfire, I hope if you're interested in history, you'd give us a little listen here and there. It's quite a, what would you say, chaotic yet historically sound show that we do. And yeah, hope you join us. And if you've never been to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, you've got to come visit Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Even if you're not into American history, okay? I'm hearing, you know, somebody in their car right now, they're driving, and, oh, honey, hear that? We should go to Gettysburg. No, I'm not interested in history. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There's something for everybody here in Gettysburg. The history lover, the non-history lover. There's something for everyone. Just a word to the non-history lovers. Being here is not enough for the history lover, okay? So don't say, okay, we did a half hour on the battlefield. Now we're going to go shopping and go to this restaurant and get ice cream here and do all that stuff. Let the history person go on their own. And then you do all the things that you can also do at home here in Gettysburg with yourself and whoever else in the family is interested in that. But don't ruin it for the history lover by making them go and do normal things that you can do anywhere with you simply because you refuse to learn. Why don't you bite the bullet, so to speak, go on a tour with the history lover, try to catch their enthusiasm, or at least see what enthuses them, because you claim to love them. So why don't you get to know them a little better? Yeah, and that's it. All right, guys, I'm going in here at, what time is it? 4:09, because why the sheet's not, as Chris pointed out here. You're welcome for the ride, less 3D. Yeah, my back is the same. I could pull off 8 hours, but I feel it. Yeah, I won't do 8 hours anymore. Nice ride. Enjoyed it. Thank you. You're welcome, Dustin. Gotta see it no matter what. That's right, Peter. And Estella, stop making people compete with me for Listener of the Year again. What do you mean? Well, who's competing? You got, what, 4 more months? But you get to keep your crown, because every year it's going to be a different one. I think I know who the Listener of the Year is going to be this year, and I think I know what the crown, end quote, is going to be. Anyway, that's it, folks. Thank you for joining me. I'll talk to you later.